Okay, this is a fun one because this is the guy that's near and dear to my heart. Guy that I've known for several years. I've gotten to watch him grow and develop. We're gonna introduce you to Andrew Smith. Some of you probably may know the name, may have seen him before from some of the things that he's doing, but he's a phenomenal guy, and it's going to be a great conversation.
Yeah, I think what I'm most excited about this is what this will mean for you, the viewer or listener, and your business, and honestly, your life. Like, no joke. So, yeah, look forward to introducing you here to Andrew Smith.
All right, you got one of my favorite people, a guy that I've gotten a chance to get to know over the years. Got to spend a little time together out in Kentucky for his team's regional meeting, as well as before that he was in one of my traction groups, and so I've just had the pleasure of getting to know Andrew Smith a little bit. So, Andrew, why don't you say hi to everybody?
Hey everybody, I'm Andrew Smith. Great to be here. Thank you guys so much for having me.
Cool. Now, where are you located again, Andrew?
I am located in the great state of North Carolina, about 15 minutes north from headquarters.
All right, cool. Which is why you get to spend a bunch of time at headquarters, I'm sure.
That is correct.
Yeah. And you're in Jeff Brown's region, and I know you do a bunch of special kind of projects, things for him.
I do. Yes, I am in Jeff Brown's region. Been here for about 3 years. Loan officer, and we do Salesforce training as well.
Fantastic. So with the Salesforce training, you guys may recognize him if you've spent any time at all in the More Learning Lab on the hub. You will recognize Andrew from his videos. How many videos do you have out there right now?
Oof. I think we probably have I honestly think it's probably around 80 to 100 right now.
That's impressive. That qualifies as a training master in my book.
All of those together might be the same length of Odyssey in the theaters. I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
no, I think it's Oppenheimer or Odyssey for
Yeah,
sure.
there
Yeah.
you go. All rolled
Yeah.
into one.
Both with equally as thrilling an ending, right?
So
1000%.
Yeah.
So cool.
So what got you into it, right? And we were talking off camera, and I kind of made the comment that, I mean, you just don't always wake up and just say, man, I want to be an expert in more or in a CRM today. So what really kind of floated your boat and got you excited about working with Salesforce, more CRM?
So when it came to Salesforce, I'll be completely honest. When I became an originator about 4 or 5 years ago, for my first 2 years, I wasn't a CRM guy. I wasn't diving into CRM and automation and adding leads. I was just kind of all over the place, letting my business run me. Um, Jeff Brown reached out to me 3 years ago and he said, "Hey, how comfortable are you with the CRM?" And I told him, quite frankly, not very comfortable at all. He said, "Well, do you want to get very comfortable with it and go train some loan officers in our region?" I said, "I'd love to." So I'm not going to say I was forced into it because I was not. It was definitely a voluntary um, action that I wanted to take at some point, but I needed someone to just say, "Okay, let's get on board." And there was no better opportunity
So
than that.
cool.
So
So cool.
Yeah.
as soon as Jeff said, "Let's get to it," I got right to it, and definitely self-taught from that point. There wasn't a lot of resources out at that time. But we made it work from that point on, and I just fell in love with it.
I love
And
that.
then how did you guys, Andy, how did you guys begin to just imagine the national opportunity? How did that evolve?
Yeah, so that was more what Andrew was doing within Jess Brown region. He was able to kind of find that next step. I think that was it Ame or was it Jessica in the training department who reached out to you first?
I think it was actually Jake Failing out
Oh,
of all the people. It was Jake Failing, um, which got with Jessica and got with May, and they were like, "Hey, I think we need you in one of these meetings. We need to figure out how to dial this all in." Also with RC up in
Cool.
the northwestern
PNW.
area. Yep.
Yep.
yeah. I mean, there's a huge need, a huge opportunity for people to grow, and I want to make sure people don't miss the start that you had to your story. Right. I mean, not only is it really cool that somebody saw the talent within you and kind of gave you the nudge. I mean, I think
Yeah.
we've all experienced that in some ways. Like, hey,
Yeah.
have you thought about doing this? And it kind of nudged you in. But you learned on your own. You picked this up. You started getting into it and learning and developing. I mean, it's proof that it's possible, right? It's proof that
Absolutely.
if you haven't spent time inside of the system, you can get there. You just have to do it step by step.
Absolutely.
So to that point, Andrew, I want to ask, I guess, when was that? Like when was that line of demarcation between, yeah, I'm really not a CRM guy and my business is running me, and I need to step in and figure this out? Like how long ago was that?
That was about 2.5 years ago, probably right over the 2 year mark. Was when I said, okay, I need to make a change. Like you said, business was running lean. I need to be doing more, but I don't know what I can be doing. We had this great thing called More CRM come out with Salesforce that movement had to offer, and I said, I'm going to dive into this. And I was actually a couple weeks after diving in when Jeff reached out and said, hey, man, let's really ramp this up and let's get you to be an expert in this so that you can go around and help other people within the company. So it's probably right over 2 years now. Yeah, right around that 2 year mark.
So, okay, so I'm just curious, and I can imagine a listener or a viewer, depending on how they're consuming this right now, thinking the same thing here. Like, okay, so if you're how old now, by the way?
I'm 23.
Okay, so if 23-year-old Andrew could talk to 21-year-old Andrew right now and say, hey, knucklehead, like, here's what you don't realize. Like, what would you say? Because there's somebody out there right now who's where you were, who probably needs to hear your answer to that.
Yes. If I could, so that's a great question. If I could talk to myself when I was 21 and I'm 23 now, um, I would let that 21-year-old me know that I need to jump into this as soon as I possibly can and as fast as I possibly can and start with the fundamentals and grow from there and be in there at least 30 minutes every single day, because the freedom that I've gained in my personal life and in business life is astronomical. And I don't see there's never going to be a time in my life, in my career, that I do not have a CRM up to date that I'm using. It'll always be a part of my business.
So, Andy, forgive me because I know I told you I wanted you to run with this, but I got to ask the follow-up question, right? This is just me being in this chair for 23 years. I hear people say what you just said for a variety of different reasons. You know, I started to time block. I got control of my schedule. I prioritized high payoff activities over low payoff activities. But what I'm hearing you say, if I'm getting it correctly, is the very fact that I have now engaged wholeheartedly with the CRM actually organizes my day, prioritizes my activities, gives me that feeling of the important things are getting done, which
Yes,
actually gives me margin and a little breathing room in my life. Am I overstating that, or is that what you're
that is
saying?
100% correct. That's
Yeah,
exactly what I'm talking about.
so cool, dude.
Awesome. So do you let it then kind of dictate every step of your day or I mean, are you using it to that point where, I guess, walk the listeners and viewers through what that looks like, what a day in the life of Andrew looks like in the way that you're using the system?
So the day in the life is I have theme days, and I know a lot of people know what that is. If you don't, it's basically where I time block from 10 to 12 o'clock every single day. And in that time period, I'm doing something, whether it's calling realtors, calling a list of pre-approvals, calling past clients, calling VIP business owners, whatever the case may be. I'm doing that for that whole entire time period every single day, and I use the CRM to find those reports, the updated reports that automatically update. I use the CRM to go in there and track activity, see who I reached out to last, see who's opening my emails. It's just my right hand sidekick. It's just the tool that I have. So I dictate my day for sure. You have to come up with, whether you're doing theme days, whatever the case may be, but the CRM is the tool that makes it all happen efficiently and fast.
So check this out. There's an interview. We'll put it in the show notes, Andy. I'll get it to you. There's an interview that Dave Savage of Mortgage Coach did with a guy named Steve Smith, who was, I don't know what his role is now. He was a futurist, if you can imagine such a thing, at Google. So his job was to always be looking out into the future, like what's coming, right?
Yep.
What are the trends? What are the tendencies? What's out in the future? And so he interviewed him and said, hey, tell us about AI. And he said, so you can lay this over a CRM. It's the same message, I think. He said in the beginning, he said, first level of utilization is, this is kind of a cool party trick. Like I can write emails differently. I can improve my social media posts. I can. So he said that's the first level. The second level is you partner with AI. And the third level is the scary one. He said, that's when you let AI run your business, right?
Yep.
But he's not kidding. Like he's not kidding. So in the same way though with the CRM, I think you can mess around with it a little bit in the beginning and like, oh, this is cool. I've got all my people out of my phone and my CRM now. Cool. That feels good. Maybe that's the first level. But man,
Right.
that second level, I just heard you say more for you is a partner.
Yes.
Yeah, man. That's so cool. The only other thing you said there that I want to make sure I always listen for things that hang up in my head because I think it might hang up in somebody else's head. When you said pull reports, I want people to understand what you mean by that because there's somebody out there right now that's you 2 years ago, and if you had heard pull reports, you'd be like, yeah, I don't think I need any reports. I don't need any
Yeah.
Excel spreadsheets. I don't even know what he's talking about. Explain what
Yeah.
you mean by that.
So reports are how um, I stay current with my active pipeline, right? You know, in my CRM, I have an opportunity pipeline. And when I keep that organized and I put people in their correct stages, say I have people that go into the pre approved stage, I can then pull reports every single day or have them emailed to me every morning or on my theme day to show me who my active pre approvals are. Those are the reports that I get in. It shows phone number, email, everything I need with notes to reach out to those people, and it automatically updates as long as I'm taking care of my CRM. You know?
I do know, but I love to hear you say it. You also reference theme days. That's probably worth at least touching on.
Yes, yeah. Theme days are awesome. I learned that pretty early on into the business. I think I was probably 19 when I first started the theme days, and those are just non-negotiables. I think to really elevate and stay consistent with your volume. I think that's probably one of the I attribute that the most next to the CRM in my business today.
So thematically, you mean like update calls and realtor calls and right? Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
So Andy, I get the reason that you love this guy. Like what else do people need to know from Andrew right now in terms of maybe identifying the gap between where they are, where they could be, and how Andrew can help them shortcut that. Because when Andrew did this, he didn't have an Andrew. He
Right.
had to he had to do it on his own.
Yeah. So I agreed, right? And I think so when you look at it, there's probably a handful of different places that people fall in inside the company or inside their abilities with Salesforce, with more in CRM. There's the novice that doesn't really know what they're doing and trying to figure out. There's the people that have gotten in and gotten intimidated by it and need to get over that hurdle. And then you've got the people that are doing something but need to turn it into something better, right? So
Yes.
Mhm.
those different elevations, evolutions. If you're looking at that, Andrew, for the people that haven't gotten into it, where would you tell them to start?
I think the best places to start are going to be going into terminology. I'm sure we can link out a couple things when we drop this podcast, but there are resources that we have at Movement now that we didn't have a couple years ago that have short little clips and videos that you can start to get the fundamentals so you're not completely lost. I think that's the best starting point is to look at the terminology of what a lead is, what an opportunity is in Salesforce. That's way more important than people think, and it goes over a lot of people's heads, but then they get
I'm
really confused when they
It
try
would
to
have
skip.
gone over my head. I'm telling you,
Exactly.
of all the things you could have said, I wouldn't have guessed that. But I
Yeah.
loved that because I think you're saying like, I mean, to me, it's like if you got a jigsaw puzzle from any market and you throw it out on the table, like you gotta throw the pieces out, right? And I want to see the straight lines and the blue and the green and the corners. Like, okay,
Hmm.
now, I mean, that's what I'm hearing you say. It's like let's start with the absolute fundamentals,
Yes.
right? I would never have thought of that. That's a brilliant point.
Yes. So it's the absolute fundamentals all the way down to the vocabulary of what a couple words mean. For example, what I think a lead is might be a little bit different than what Salesforce has a lead to be in the Salesforce system. We need to know what that means in Salesforce terms to then execute on sending mass emails or doing anything we want from that point on. We have to know what that stuff means. So those videos are really good, a good starting point for sure.
Hey, lead, you landed on it. We may as well unpack it a bit. Like, talk about that. What does a lead mean to you in your mind intuitively, and what is it in more?
I mean, the lead's one of the most important things we have in this whole entire industry, right? The lead is, in Salesforce terms, it's a manually inputted um, contact, whether that's email, phone number, first name, last name. It's not someone that started an application, so that gets misconstrued a couple times with different people. So knowing what a lead is and then putting all our leads in there into the CRM, we keep track of everything, so we're not losing things through the cracks. That's definitely been a problem of mine pre-CRM days, where I write down a post-it note, from a phone call, leave the office, have to go back to the office to see what I wrote down. If we're putting every single thing into the CRM and using it how it should be used, it's unstoppable and leads
So
that
good.
first starting point to the whole machine that we're building.
When you start talking about the terminology, it makes so much sense because you kind of have to learn the language
Yes.
before you can enter the environment, right? No matter what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always found when you're dealing with any CRM, the language helps you understand kind of the logical flow of information. And
Yes.
once you can see that pattern, then it's easier to dive in and start using it. And one of the cool things about Salesforce in particular is it's huge. It's
Yeah.
robust. I mean, it can do anything and everything. And one of the worst things about Salesforce is it's huge. It's robust. There
It's
is
so true.
so many squirrels to chase it. It's so easy to get lost, right? So for
Yes.
those people that are kind of in that phase that have gotten in and said, wow, this water's deep, where would you tell them to kind of recenter their focus? I mean, obviously, first suggestion is let's go back and get the language. Let's understand concepts and terms. That's going to help you navigate a little better. But after you've got that down, where do we go next?
I think from that point, what we want to do then is we want to jump into the opportunities. And then again, you need to know what an opportunity is in Salesforce terms. But we're going into our people in our active pipeline where the money is. We go into those important reports that have money making activities right in front of me. I need to be jumping on those as hard as I possibly can every single day in and out, whether I'm doing theme days or not. I need to be looking at that opportunity pipeline and my lead pipeline and making sure that everything's running through that funnel. This is the machine that the CRM has built out for us. We just have to use it, right? So that's definitely the next part of that journey is going into your opportunities and making sure that's up to date and you're updating that every single day in and out so that it stays on track.
That's so good. Andy knows this. He saw it yesterday on 75 Hard. I put together a graphic in Chat GPT comparing the number of realtor transactions 2026 to 2019. You would not be surprised to know they are down 25%.
Mm-hmm.
So realtors are down 25%. And yet we're an industry that has relied historically on two things, realtor referrals and refis.
Yep.
Well, guess what? It's a different day.
Mm-hmm.
It's a new day. So for us to as business owners, every loan officer is a business owner, to be able to step back, recognize that evolution and say, okay, so what are the things that I can change? Maybe instead of 14 realtors, I'm going to now market to 300. That's one way to go. You're not
Yeah.
going to create refi opportunities where they don't make sense. So that's probably not going to happen. So what other variables do you have? And one of them is to completely tighten up your system so that there's no lead left behind, right?
Yes.
In the old days we could be sloppy. This is not a time for sloppy. So I'm curious, as you've had enough time now working with LOs on this, you know the things where people get hung up and where their lights come on. So I'd love to hear just your thoughts on both, like where are the stumbling blocks that you see again and again and again with LOs, and then where are the moments where you see them go, oh my goodness.
Yes. Yeah. No, that's a really good couple of questions there. To answer the first part of that question, the number one thing where I see other loan officers failing or not doing, you know, everyone has huge opportunities in their pipeline, and the number one thing I'm seeing is people not taking full opportunity and jumping into every single lead that they've ever had, jumping into every single person that submitted an application. This, like I was just talking about, that lead pipeline, that opportunity pipeline, if we're not touching that and we're not moving people to what stage they currently are in, they're not going to be getting the automation, the automatic emails that go out when I put someone in the pre-approved stage.
Yeah.
So the CRM's not working for that loan officer in the background. But if someone like me or someone that is in the CRM and is using it, when we put people from application completed into pre-approved or credit repair hold, they start getting automated emails weekly based on what stage they're in. Therefore, the CRM is a machine and it's working in the background for me. For example, and this is where the light switch comes on for a lot of people, is that in itself. I'm on the road a lot. I was just in Richmond training loan officers for this the other day. And I got an email from a pre-approval that I pre-approved probably 6 weeks ago. And this client of mine saw an email that went out automatically last week, reached out to me and said, hey, we want to submit an offer on this home. So we got that under contract. This is real stuff that's actually happening, and money
while
is
you
made
were on the
because of it.
road.
Exactly. I didn't do anything besides put that person in the correct spot in the CRM. And maybe that person would have went with someone else if they weren't getting my weekly emails. So it's as simple as that.
Dude. So good.
Yeah, and that's really the power of it, right? Where you can set it and forget it.
Set it and forget it.
Totally.
And when that person moves on to, if it's an active loan and TRID's triggered, it automatically moves over to that part of my pipeline. It takes them out of there. It's, if I just do the front end work, all the back end work takes care of itself. And just, yes, it's so good.
So I think it's important to remind people, I mean, this is a big investment. Oh, wait, no, not for you though. The company made the big investment, right? So
Yes.
You guys, look, one of the things that Coach Andy and I do all the time with clients is we ask clients to consider their ROI. What's your ROI on MBS Highway and HomeBot and Mortgage Coach and Shred It, and like everything you spend money on should have a return on investment. The beauty of More is that it's free to you. You're not paying anything for this. The company has paid this. And dude, not just money, blood, sweat, and frickin' tears. Like, it took a while to get us to this point, right? The whole Blue Sage transition, getting More up and running. But this is something you just have to step into. You just need to make a decision and step into, and you have a partner. If you asked Andy and I, what's the main complaint you hear from LOs again and again and again? It's, I don't have enough time. I'm too busy. Things are falling through the cracks. I need an assistant. This is a way to create a virtual assistant for yourself, right?
Yes, it fills a huge void that I think a lot of loan officers might not even know they have.
For sure. I think most don't. Good point. So the second question, I just don't want to leave it hanging out there, was, is there a moment that you can consistently see where LOs are like, seriously? Wow, that's game changing. What comes to mind?
So the number one thing, like I said, is all the automation that Movement Mortgage has in the background that does everything for us. There's a page in the CRM, communications and opt-ins. I go in there and I check, I enable or disable what I want on or off. The section in there is literally marked for me. I can turn on in-process emails. I have texts that go out right now every step of the way throughout the mortgage transaction. I did not have to set it up. When I let other loan officers know that we have that, they didn't even know we have such a thing, but we have things.
I didn't know we have that.
Exactly.
I did not know we have that. That's spectacular.
Exactly. And like Andy was saying, a little bit ago, is, the bad thing about the CRM is there's so many cool things that it can do.
Yeah.
It's way too much for someone to just come in and say, I want it all, because a lot of people don't even know what they want. We don't even know what it has. So we need to start at the fundamentals and go through. But there's so many little things like those in-process text messages that just light loan officers' eyes up and say, I need that. I need that.
Dude, that is fire. And so I'm going to share a vision from around the time you were born. So your parents and I were using Blackberries back then, right? And this is non-functioning $10 on eBay. There's a reason for that.
Yeah. I played Pong on those, actually.
Well, there you go. Okay. Yeah. But at some point, like, iPhones came along, and I guess to a lesser degree, some other version of phone, I'm not sure, But the Apple product, anyway, when it was first introduced, people are like, so cloud apps,
Yeah.
no keyboard.
Yeah.
I don't get it. And so there's so much you can do with your smartphone, which is a dumb term today, right? But
Yeah.
it's where it started, that you just had to start someplace. So I think that's what you're saying. And Andy, I think what is so exciting for us is we have actually got an opportunity for people to be able to hang out with Andrew, those that really want to step it up. And man, if you're cool with just describing that right now, I'd love for people to understand what that is.
Yeah, and I think, and what I'd love to do is start off by just announcing that Andrew's going to join the team. Right, he is going to make that step and become one of our official player coaches on our team, which we are fired up about
Very
because,
much so.
as you all can hear and may have been able to see, an unbelievably talented individual. Right, if you're trying to get to that next level in the CRM, or if you're trying to get to any level in the CRM, what he's about to kind of talk about and bring you through is exactly for you, right?
Totally.
It's a well-designed, easy course to jump into. So Andrew, why don't you tell them a little bit about what it is that you've set up?
Yeah, so we are setting up some player coaching. It is the Built to Run program. It's going to be an 8-week program. It's back to back. We're not doing every other week. We're just going straight in. It's for people that want to dive in, whether you're, a novice, like Andy said, you're, in the intermediate range where, you know some things, you might be scared of the bigger things, or if you're an expert and you're all the way up there. I'm sure there's still things that maybe we need to backtrack on and make sure we have the fundamentals all properly set up to best help you with your expert status. Or if you're a fundamental, we're going to go through everything that we possibly can, starting from the ground up. So if you don't even know where Salesforce is on your laptop, we're going from ground up to go over all the terminology. We're going over all the different stages, how to set up these simple and easy automation emails and texts, everything to mass emails, building cadences down the road. There's going to be so many things, but we are going to start with the fundamentals in the first week.
Yeah, and
So
I want to
cool.
emphasize too, this is an 8-week program that is specifically designed to kind of take you soup to nuts all the way through this. So it doesn't matter what level you're at, you're going to
Mhm.
gain something, maybe a little bit of review at some of the earlier levels, but pretty quickly it's going to help you gain in your acumen for where you're going. And this isn't, I mean, the way this is designed is brilliant, right? It's not just a training course. We're not just going to be, or Andrew's not going to just be walking you through this. He's going to be actually helping you demonstrate it. He's going to have 30 minutes after the call for open door office time to ask questions, to
I
walk
think
through
that's
things.
huge.
The
I think that's
availability is
huge.
unbelievable.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's something, by the way, that Andrew suggested. That's not something we came up with. It's so helpful because he's been doing this for so long. He recognizes the value of that. Like talking head showing which buttons to click on is one thing, but having a conversation and listening to people and helping them to understand how this will work for them. I mean, that's money. So thank you, bud, for the way that your whole curriculum for this is really, really well laid out. I'm very excited about this.
And
Me
there's
too. I appreciate
accountability
it.
built into it too, right?
Yes.
So there's an expectation that you will click along, right? That you're going to
Good.
do it, and there's parts of the coaching are built around that with scorecards and all those things. So yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Andrew.
No, we're going to have some homework for sure. We're going to be doing this. Everyone that's in the class, we're all doing something week to week, and we're all going to be using it. We're not just coming in here to, we can hang out. I love hanging out, but we're gonna use the CRM, and you're going to be
You bet.
really good with the CRM by the time we're done.
So good.
I don't want there to be a way around that. I want this to be, like you said, Andy. I want full accountability, and we're going to get this set up. And in that 30 minutes after, I think is going to be really important and really helpful because you know, outside of the current region that I'm in, there's not someone that everyone can funnel to. It's just we have too big of a company right now to do something like that. It's just not feasible. But in this coaching, I will be there, and I want to be there for the one-on-ones after, for the two-on-ones after, so we can go through actual questions that people have instead of doing it all on the hour portion of the call. We have a half hour after the call to go through those specific questions to get the CRM set up exactly how that person wants to set up for
So
themselves.
good. Yeah. That's so good, man. Program begins when?
Andy, I think we're
The
in the
15th.
talks the 15th
Yeah.
of September.
Yeah, and it's
Sweet.
going to vary a little bit on the exact start date because we've got to get some folks to register for it so we can figure out exactly what day and time
Yep.
that those lessons will be. But it's going to start that week of September 15th,
Yes.
so that it runs its course before you get too far into the holiday season, so you can learn what you need to learn and then practice it while you're
Very
there.
Yes.
good.
Now,
Yep.
now with that too, because of the nature of this group, since it's hands-on, since there's so much opportunity and exposure with Andrew as you're going through this, the group sizes will be limited, right? So if you are
Great point.
interested, once you see this, jump in. We can only run a couple of groups at a time because of the nature of this. So make sure you get yourself registered and jump into it early to get into those groups.
Absolutely. And I just want to say something too, in the biggest reason why we are limiting, I have, like I said, I'm with Jeff Brown in Jeff Brown's region. He has the I think it's the largest amount of loan officers per region. So I'm still in Jeff's region doing training, traveling a good bit as well. So we are limiting just for those reasons. I also do produce. I try to close at least 500 to a million every month, and with 20 hours out of the week. And like I said, if I didn't have, I was telling someone yesterday, if I didn't have this CRM set up how I have it set up now, I don't think I'd be closing loans at all, because the amount of time that I'm on the road or I'm on a Teams call with someone else trying to help them with their CRM, my CRM's working for me in the background. And that's that freedom I'm talking about. I had so much freedom to go out and help other people that this machine runs in the background. And then when I prospect and do things like that on top with my theme days, it's sugar, it's the sugar on top of the cake, right?
So,
It
so
gets so good.
Andrew, at 23, with your opportunity, that's your situation. But imagine how many people have kids, they're caregivers for elderly
Yes.
parents. There's something else going on in their lives, right? Or just the busyness of life. Maybe they're involved
Yes.
in charities or try to improve their golf game, whatever,
Yeah.
whatever those things are that they're spending time on. This allows you to create an efficiency that literally runs in the background. 30 years ago, I worked for a guy and he said, here's the deal. He said, I built a box. It's a money box. And as long as I had my hands on it and I turned it, it spit out $100 bills. But he said, I hit a point where I took my hands off and the crank continued to turn and the
Mm,
hundies kept spitting out. Like, what a great visual, you guys, that there are so many activities that we don't do well, we forget, we don't follow up, we
mm,
just, it's like having a leaky bucket. It's like having a
yeah.
bucket with holes in it. You're going to tighten all that up. And I don't know what the downside to this is other than you committing to some time hanging with Andrew, which clearly is going to be a good time. So come hang out with Andrew.
Absolutely. And I love that analogy. I think that's so good. Um, you know, I thought that day for me was going to come later. Yeah, I'm not closing $50 trillion a year, but I am at that point where if I take my foot off the gas, it will still run for more time than it would if I did not have the CRM.
So cool. So
So
cool, dude.
it's amazing. It's awesome.
Well, let's run at this. Andy, closing thoughts. What do you got?
Yeah, so I guess closing thoughts for me is first, Andrew, thank you for taking the time. I know that you're a busy
Thank
guy and
you.
you got a ton of
Appreciate
stuff,
it.
so we really appreciate you jumping on. And man, it's I don't I don't take it for granted that every time I jump on a call with you, I learn something new. And it is just amazing to me the wealth of information knowledge you have. So thank you for your ability and your willingness to share that with folks.
Thank you so much for having me, guys.
Buddy, it
Yeah.
was our pleasure. Let's go. This is going to be
Let's
fun.
do it. Let's go.
All right, buddy. Appreciate you,
I,
man.
Take care, guys.
well, Bill, that did not disappoint. That was another phenomenal thing. I know I mentioned at the end of the call, and I'm going to say it again. I am blown away that every time I get on the call with Andrew, I learn something new. It is just amazing to me the
Yeah.
wealth of information he's got.
Well, you're spending more time with him than I am, but just the one thing he mentioned about texting, like I didn't know we had that. That's fantastic. That I know there's always a wish list and there's a tunnel that this stuff has to go through and get prioritized and implemented. But dude, he's at the leading edge of that. So yeah, to be able to hear him describe all the things, and to me the major aha, just having been a coach for so many years, is being able to describe his busyness in his schedule right now with traveling and presenting and training, so forth, but his business is happening in the background. Who is that not attractive to? Like, come on, you guys, let's take advantage of this offering. So we'd love to see you in Built to Run. We're pretty excited about this program.
Yeah, it's going to be a phenomenal program. It's going to add a ton of value to a lot of folks. You get to tap into the wealth and knowledge of Andrew and just click along as you go along. So you can learn and pick it up and turn yourself into the super user if you want to that Andrew already is. So that you can get to the point where it's set it and forget it, that you let you let Salesforce, you let more run you instead of you always running it.
It's so good, man. Yeah, I tell you what, you guys, this is an exciting time to be in the business, and we are always honored to bring this to you. If this struck a chord with you today, or there's something in particular that you just think, man, I'd love to unpack that a bit more, reach out to Andy or I. We'd love to have a call with you. Just hit us at getcoaching@movement.com. We'd love to schedule a strategy call with you and just start looking at what that next chapter might look like for you.
Yeah. As always, guys, don't forget to like us and follow us on the podcast. Helps us get the word out to more folks. So make sure that you do that. We thank you for jumping on, watching, listening, and being with us. And we can't wait to come to you again next time.
See you next time.